Right now guys, it's a little bit windy at the top here. Wind's pushing up this end for the first time in ages. It's been pushing down to the other end, the other two sessions I've done on here, so makes a change. Just going to pop down to the point. Joe from Nothing But Fishing and now Carpology, he does their filming work. He's actually doing a guest on here and doing some work for Carpology. So he's down at bottom end. I've never met him before. I've been chatting to him a little bit on Facebook. He's seems like a pretty sound guy, so I'm going to go down and have a word. He had I think he said it was his second biggest fish, 26 pound. I think it was just shy of 27, so not a bad stamp fish right up here. But yeah, the wind's coming up here. There's a member in one of the swims on this bank. I think it's the swim I did my first session. They're along that bank, so not too sure where to go yet. Hugh's on his way. He was delayed a bit due to family commitments, but looking down there, it looks like he could be in actually. So I will get going. So I made my way down the path, down towards the point swim where Joe was set up. The wind was hacking into that spot and it was doing a great job of trying to blow him away. The fish were definitely in the area, and he'd had a few fish already. As I went into the swim, he was bent into a fish. Unfortunately, I'd managed to weed him up, and a little bit later on it did unfortunately slip the hook, but it happens to the best of us. That said though, we had a few cracking fish, and one of them was a lovely mirror, just shy of 27 pound, and I'm sure you agree with the photos, it's an awesome fish. Check out the Carpology YouTube channel, and I'll put a link in the description below where you can see his video on there. So we gave Joe a hand getting his kit back to the motor, and then we loaded up our own barrows and made our way back down to the point swim. It seemed the right choice to get in after him, as he'd had a few, and clearly the fish were still in the area. So we worked the swim quite a bit. We kept the bait going in on the spots that had been producing fish. But unfortunately, it just didn't seem to be happening. We were struggling to actually get some bites. The fish were still showing in the area, and it looked good for a fish, but it just didn't seem to. They didn't seem to want to play ball. So I even tried putting a rod long. I whacked one or two long when the sun come through out onto the shallower spots, but again, nothing was really happening. We couldn't even produce a bite from that. So unfortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes. That session was a bit of a fail. Nothing really happened, but it was nice to be on the bank, nice to you know, sit behind the rods. We had an awesome sunset on the evening, so yeah, it was nice to get out. I had a bit of a fail when putting one of the rods out. I managed to lose the top of the rod, so I had to strip down and wade out and retrieve it. It was definitely one of those sessions. It seemed a few things kept going wrong. But you know, we went home looking forward to getting back down and maybe getting amongst a few next time. Right, we just turned up at the lake. We're doing well, I'm possibly doing 2 nights. She's doing 1. Sun's out at the moment. It was a bit miserable on the way up here, but I think the weather's going to get a bit carpy a bit later today, so it's looking good for a bite hopefully. We're going to have a bit of a look around, I reckon, and see if we can find a few. You feeling confident?
Always, mate.
Yeah,
Always.
Awesome. Well, let's go and have a look around. Decided that he's going in this one and I'm going in that one by the fantastic process, not watercraft, fishcraft or anything like that, but the toss of the stick.
So we've been here a couple of hours.
You see, you're doing it already.
We've narrowed it down to a couple of swims, but we can't decide as normal who should go in which. So there's only one way to decide. It's not a flip of the coin. We haven't got any money. So it's a toss of the stick, basically. So this is the pointy end, this is the tail end. Whichever end this is pointing, left or right, take Sean swim for him. It.
I'm fishing the broom.
Yeah, give me a break.
That worked.
You're fishing that swim.
Right.
Bolly,
Dad. Huh?
You can fish this one.
We've had a walk around, and there's a guy over there. He's had a fish over on the point. He had a fish last night about 10ish, only a little stocky. We saw quite a nice fish jump down into this corner. We've also seen some fish topping out off of the swim over here. So we couldn't really decide where to go, to be honest. We've seen fish sort of showing in complete different areas, so it's been quite a hard decision as to what to do. Now the wind's trickling down this way, so because of that, I think it feels a bit carpier. You know, it just feels a bit more like we should probably be down this way. There always seems to be fish holding out in this main area. There's quite a lot of weed down there. It's a bit shallower than the top end of the lake, so the fish do seem to hang around down here. So we couldn't really decide, so Hugh decided to do the toss the stick to choose which swim. It's the man of the hour.
Excuse me, you still on swim?
The big fish hunter.
Do you mind just vacating my swim? Just stop.
Okay then, so I've seen a fish roll out about 70 odd yards ish. So I've decided, instead of thrashing the water trying to find an area, I'm literally just going to put some singles out for a bit and then get the camp set up. So I'm using some multi-rigs. I don't use them that often, but they work really well in this situation because you can change the hook, you can change the hook bait, mount the hook bait really quickly like that. So it's a really good way of getting a bait out really fast, and they're very effective. So yeah, I've decided to do that, and like I said, I've got one out there. The guy opposite has just had a bite. He's been here for a night already. He's obviously put a bit of bait in. He had one last night about 10 o'clock, and he's just had another one. So don't know if that's indication of that the fish are just switched on or not, but I'm going to quickly get this one out there towards where I saw that fish jump, and I'm basically just going to put 3 rods slightly fanned out where they've rolled, and hopefully land on a fish. I'm just going to lighter cast just to wet the line a bit. Soft drop. To be fair, I had a soft drop on that one, but I thought, I don't think it's really heavy weed, so I thought I'd leave it for a bit so I didn't make too much disturbance out there. Just get a couple of casts in the area. Sorted, right. Let's whiz this one out in a similar area. Better drop, but a bit too close to the other rod. I went down with a bit better donk then. But it's very close to the other rod. I don't want them too close together. Slipped a little bit, but went down nice and clean. Did a bit of tubing really, just to secure the position of that. Usually it works fine. What is that? Looks like putty. Shallow. Okay, so I've got the 3 rods out. As you can see, they're sort of just fanned out in the central sort of area of the swim, probably around 60 to 80 yards, something like that. Just 3 singles on multi-rigs, just 60mm pop-ups. So yeah, I've got a yellow, white and a pink, all sort of washed out colours, not sort of bright fluoros, but sort of more washed out. And yeah, I'm going to just leave them out there, see what happens. Like I said, a fish has showed at that kind of range, properly jumped right out of the water. So I'm getting quite shallow drops as well, so I don't think it's that deep out there. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So we'll see if anything happens. But I've got the tips dip down under the water to try and get the line to sink. There's obviously a crosswind, and to try and get that line to sink down, I've just sort of buried the tips in the bottom, basically, just to get the line as low down in the water as I can. To hopefully try and get it to sink down, try and take some of the bow out of the line. But yeah, I'm going to get the camp set up anyway. Get the brolly back here, and go from there. I think just leave them out there for the next hour or so, once I get everything settled in, and maybe have a little flick around with a deeper, and maybe look at an area to put a little bit of bait on. But me and Hugh have been discussing it a little bit. We're not too sure how much bait to go in with. We've done well over a lot of bait, but there's not been many fish caught recently. I've seen one guy's done 4 nights for a blank. There's been quite a few blanks on the score sheet in the little hut, the sign-in book. The guy over there has just had his second, and he's only had 2 now since yesterday morning, I think he got here. So it is looking quite slow. So I think I'm going to just well, we'll see how it goes. Some lovely Cajun chicken wraps coming up shortly. Happy days. Okay, so a bit of an update for you then. Hugh's gone and bagged one. He's down the swim to my left. He's had it on a single hook bait at 20 wraps. The bailiffs earlier, after having a chat to him, did suggest that a lot of the fish have been coming out at that distance. So because of that, I'm going to basically redoing one of my rods. We will pop down and see him in a second. It's a lovely little scaly one, one of the little stockies, but looks like a cracking fish. I did just net it for him, and yeah, he's I think he's pretty happy. It looks like a nice little scaly one. But anyway, because he's had that fish, I thought I'd double check my rods, see what kind of distance they were. Now I just sort of pub chucked them, to be honest, out towards some Sherman fish or in the general whereabouts. And I just marked this one out, and it's actually 35 wraps for me. Now I've got 10-foot rod, so to be at the same distance as 20 wraps on like a 12-foot rod, I need to fish at 24. So I'm essentially fishing about 10 rod lengths further than a lot of the fish have been coming from. So seeing as Hugh has just had that fish at 20 wraps, I'm going to wrap mine up at that distance and re-chuck them. These have been out there probably, don't know, 5-6 hours, so I'm going to put on some fresh hook baits. I just thought I'd show you the setup I'm using. So I'm just using a standard heli-safe helicopter rig, my standard setup all the time at the moment. I've been using it for probably, well, since it's released, to be honest. I haven't used anything else since. Rig-wise, I'm using a multi-rig. You can see there I've got it about 1.5 inches off the bottom. I use this now because it's just a versatile rig. You can change the hook, you can change the hook bait and chop and change. It's really good for single hook bait fishing when you might want to change different colour hook baits, different flavours, different sizes. And I tend to just use a shot as a counterweight and just change the size of the shot for the size of the bait. With these 16 mils, a little treble A, I think that is, balances them out perfectly, so they drop nice and softly under the weight of that. Now I'm going to put a fresh hook bait on. I've just got these little Nash Korda bait screws. Now this bait is still quite pungent, but I obviously want to give them as much of a boost and fragrance as I can, because they are obviously just a single hook bait. So because of that, every time I put a fresh one on, I either give it a little bit of a boost with a sort of booster spray, or just switch to a fresh hook bait. So I've got some of the Innate hook baits here, and I just put a fresh one on. That was on the yellow, so I just put on another yellow one, and it's just washed out, like a washed out yellow. So it's nice and simple. All you've got to do then is just screw the hook bait straight on. You just screw it in there nicely. And you're good to go. And there you go. I've got a fresh hook bait all ready to go. Out on 20 wraps. Hopefully see if we can get one. I'm going to redo all three. This is the first one, but I'm going to redo all three, and yeah, hopefully by doing that I might put them on the money and get myself a bite. So anyway, I'll get this out. I'm going to pop down to see Hugh and have a look at the fish that he's got. That's a beauty,
isn't it?
Yeah.
So 13p and 12. Me and Sean were just sitting there literally thinking, oh, have we got the tactics right? Not too sure. So this one was on a single little white Innate pop-up. Fired out there at 20 wraps, and just a couple of bleeps, we were like, ooh. And then the reel just started ticking, didn't it? So
yeah, it's a bit of an odd take, wasn't it?
it was, yeah. By the time I got to it, it was going off, but yeah, weird fight as well, really. Swam straight at me for a while and then played around in the margins. So.
But it is a lovely condition fit, like lovely scale pattern.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Just imagine that, like mid-20.
Oh, golden edges of the tail.
Yeah, lovely fit.
What we come for, isn't it? Well happy with that.
Yeah.
Sleep well tonight now. It's now 20 to 10. You last seen me about 11:30 last night with a 13, 12, lovely little scaly thing it was. First thing this morning, I was changed over to 3 single pop-ups, all again out of 20 wraps, brought the 2 bags in, I hadn't had a knock all night, so I've tried to put a scatter in the boilies with a throwing stick all over them, but to be fair, there's a fair bit of bird life, and they've probably picked off most of them, but if a couple have got to the bottom, so be it. But I just really don't think the fish are on the munch, so hence that bite last night on a single pop-up. I'm here till mid-afternoon, so still got a few hours. It's absolutely blistering hot now. You would not believe that we're in late October. It's got to be getting up for near 20 degrees. I'm sweating as it is, and yeah, it's lovely though, lovely to wake up to. But yeah, we'll see what the rest of the day brings, and fingers crossed between us we'll have another fish shoot here.
Okay, so the guy down on the point at the other end, he's had 3 now. He's done 2 nights so far. They've all been in little stockies. It just looks like the fish aren't really heavily feeding. They're not really on it at the moment. So I've done a bit of deeper work on the swim and found that there's a slight change in depth at 20 wraps, which is where the weekend guys had a few fish in front of the swim I'm in. Turns out that swim I was in produced the most bites, 6 bites, only 2 landed. So I think what I'm going to do is just spread a bit of bait out in front of the swim around sort of 20 wraps, maybe a bit further, I'm not too sure, and then just put the 3 rods out on that. It's a bit shallower than the rest of the area in front of me. I've got sort of 10 to 11 foot enclosed, and it gradually goes up to 9, plateaus off, well, I say plateaus off, kind of goes consistent for about 8 foot for probably 40 odd yards, and then it starts to sort of shallow up by about a foot, goes to about 7, 7.5 maybe. So it's sort of that's a little bit of a change in depth, and then it's like that consistently. But past that, I can't get a read on the deeper because it's too far. So without sort of blasting a marker out there and doing that, I'm not really going to know too much more what's past it. Which I haven't actually got a marker fluid with me, annoyingly. I didn't bring it, so a little bit frustrating. But oh well, I'll have to remember next time. But that's about it really. There's not really a lot else to go on. There's not a lot else to do. So I'm going to until I'll walk along here on the back of the wind just to see if there's any fish milling about in the margin, but I haven't seen anything. So I think it's just going to be a case of going back to the swim, getting some bait out, and just leaving it for the night, and hopefully I'll get some on it tonight. I'm still pretty tired if I'm honest, so I'm probably going to end up getting my head down pretty early tonight. So I know, just see if something happens. It's just not fishing that well at the moment. It's very hit and miss. There's a few fish coming out from time to time, but it's not as consistent as the first sort of few sessions we did.
So then, just see me putting a few spoms out. It's I've got about 2 hours to go, so it's almost last attempt really. Nothing this morning on singles. There's a slightly gravelly patch about 20 wraps out, so I've put 2 on that, and then my left hand rod I've cast over just over to my left sort of shoulder down to the left. There's been a few couple of fish showing down there. There's a lot of weed, so I haven't really got much of a drop, but yeah, fingers crossed, 2 hours to go, see if I can sneak something out.
Job done. So a bit of bait out there, a couple of the spoms didn't really go too well out to be honest, because the spot is seen better days. The door on the back's broken, the hinges, and every now and then it seems to fly weird and then catches in the water and ends up dragging subsurface, so it's a bit of a pain, but clearly need a new one. But I've spread a bit of bait around, quite a wide area, just over the 3 rods. I think I must have put maybe 12, I'd say. I wasn't really counting, just a good spread, most of what I had in here, so it's probably a good kilo at least. Maybe a little bit more, but we'll see how it goes. So there's another guy now who's got an over in there. Looks like he's put a bit of bait in, so it'll be interesting to see if any of us get anything tonight. But a bit more confident having a bit of bait out, to be honest, because there's so many fish in here. I wasn't too sure about single up baits. Hugh had that fish last night, and I did think, oh, you know, maybe it's the one. Then I had a bite, but because I lost it and then nothing else happened, I thought if I had a bit of bait out there, you know, maybe that might have produced an extra bite. So yeah, I'm not too sure, but we'll see how it goes for the night. So I've got a few hours till it gets dark, but hopefully that'll mean it's nice and quiet and settled. I'm just sinking the line so that the line's nice and down out of the way. So yeah, hopefully we can get one. We'll see how it goes. Right, morning then. So it's been a quiet night, unfortunately. I did feel confident that I was going to get a fish, but it's just not happened. In hindsight, I did think a little bit about moving last night. I kind of had some food and that. I was settled in, sort of just doing a little bit on the laptop, a bit of editing, and there were a few fish showing further up the bank. I think up towards the island. We moved on to fish showing and nothing's happened, and so I didn't know if it was really worth going through the hassle of packing down and potentially moving at that time in the morning. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, but you know, I'd put that bait out and I just thought to myself, well, that's a big area of attraction that those fish could come in on, and I just thought to myself, it's probably not worth moving. It's probably worth giving it the night, you know, waking up in the morning and reassessing it then. So it's essentially what I've done. Unfortunately, it's not happened and it's not produced a bite. I got done on that first night. I think if I'd had that fish, I wouldn't have felt so bad. At least Hugh had one, so that's something. A little bit of a blog saver, that one, to be honest. So that's about the end of the video now. If I do get anything before I go, obviously I will get the camera out, but I'm probably going to pack it all down now. So anyway, it's a bit of a struggle, you know, this session, but that's how it goes sometimes. So thanks for watching anyway. Hope you enjoyed the videos, and you know, remember to hit that subscribe button. Remember to hit the bell icon so that you get the up-to-date notifications when I'm putting up new uploads. I'm going to be doing a regular series up on Phil's, so keep up to date in that. Hopefully the fishing doesn't slow down too much, but that's going into winter now, but we'll see how it all goes. And anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you like it. Stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see you on the bank, or probably won't see you on the bank, but you see me on the bank soon. Anyway, till next time, thanks for watching. See you later.